Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalrin, and in this video I'll be talking a bit about the current best farming methods for Azerite power in Battle for Azeroth through patch 8.0.1. Now this is gonna talk about the early levels, the early game, before any of the raids are released, of all the different methods that you should be utilizing in order to maximize effectively how much AP you're grinding out for your necklace. And at the end of the video I will also talk about potential other things that will come out in a few weeks that you can also utilize in order to help yourself farm a little bit more AP for your necklace in order to get stronger and start doing a lot more damage in dungeons, raids, and in PvP. At first, I want to ask myself a question: just how strong is the necklace, and do we really need to farm Azerite power? Just to give you an example, I actually was able to sim my character, and after running so many dungeons, I have gotten 2 pieces of gear that have been integral in my DPS. Both of them are chest pieces. They are different chest pieces, but one of them is item level 325, which is an average rogue item level. The other is the 340 mythic piece. Obviously, by looking at the item level, you would think that the 340 wins out in the competition. The problem is my necklace was only at level 16, which granted me an Azerite trait for the heroic chest but not the mythic. That difference alone, the fact that my necklace was a certain level, allowed my chest piece to overpower the mythic version by miles. And when simming my character, I was doing absolutely next to no damage increase with the mythic chest compared to the heroic chest, even though it has generally better stats like stamina, agility, and armor. Recently, Blizzard has hotfixed a lot of those 340 pieces from mythic dungeons, and now my chest piece can be viable. But I still feel that this example shows us just how important this necklace is going to be, and I'm going to take a wild guess and say that it's going to continue being this important and integral for the rest of BFA. So whether you're somebody who wants to play the game casually and enjoy a lot of the casual content, whether you're somebody who wants to go hard and grind out in all the raids and dungeons, or you're somebody who likes to dabble in PvP, everybody and anybody is going to want to pay attention to their necklace and their AP grinding. So now that we know the necklace is going to be very integral in our gameplay, let's talk a bit about some of the different methods you guys can use in order to get the most value out of your AP farming in BFA. The first method that I want to cover is the Island Expeditions, a fun kind of scenario style group content with only 3 people necessary. Very quick, very easy to do, and it rewards a decent amount of AP. The AP though is not something I would grind for every single day. I wouldn't really spend 2 hours with a group of friends unless I have them all fully geared out and we are prepared and fully stocked up with all the different items you can use on these islands. Only then would I kind of grind them on Mythic to get as much value out of my AP. But I don't think it's the kind of content that's always grindable. You see, with Island Expeditions, you have a lot of variables that are always changing. You don't have a dungeon and boss fights that are going to be always the same, where you can employ the same strats all the time. The islands are going to change, and different challenges, different enemies, different rares, and different activities are going to be accessible to you. Also, different platforms, different islands in general. So it's not something that you can really pre-plan for, but it is something you should at least do once a week. With islands, there is a weekly cap, and once you reach that weekly cap, whether by doing normals, heroics, mythics, or the PvP version of the dailies, then you'll be able to get a good chunk of AP from your islands. I would suggest that everybody gets your islands done at least on a weekly basis, but if you do have a group of 2 friends or 2 guilds that you want to run a few of these, whether it is PvP or mythic, heroic, or normal version, it is a fair fun of content and offers a little bit of variety from the everyday grind. The second part of the content you can also explore are the dungeons. The least thing you should do with dungeons is get your daily rewards, and also can work while you are gearing. If you're in a group of friends or guildies and you are farming gear while you're in a dungeon, it rewards a decent amount of AP, but not really some kind of a crazy load of it. It is fairly efficient if you're trying to gear and get a little bit of AP on the side, but again, it is not something that I would spam solely for AP. If I'm going for gear, then the AP is nice, but if I want to do solely AP farming, I would probably look at other activities. At the very least, you should get your daily dungeons and daily rewards for the a little bit extra AP that you get once a day. The third method is probably the best, and not really something you can consistently farm, but you can be on the lookout as there's usually an activity or 2 to do at all times of day. World Quest is probably the best thing you should be looking for. There's a lot of variety of quests that can be implored during World Quest in order to get you AP. And they come in various shapes and sizes, but most of them can be soloed. And if you do need some that need to be grouped up for, maybe a huge rare in the zone, usually Blizzard has a option for you to group up in LFG with other players in order to take on challenging bosses. While farming AP world quests, you can also kind of kill two birds with one stone, as a lot of the world quests will reward you rep with various factions. So whether you're on Kultiras, whether you're Zandalari, whether you're Horde, or whether you're Alliance, you'll still be able to collect a little bit of rep while farming world quests. World Quest AP grind is not the most consistent, as the world quests themselves change day to day. So while one day you might be able to get a bunch of WQs that give you a bunch of AP, other days it might come out a little bit dry. While we're talking about questing in the world, you can go rare hunting. Most of the rares will drop a little bit of sweet Azerite here and there, but there's not really enough Azerite to make a huge impact. Unless you're somebody who has a lot of free time, rare hunting is something you can technically do. Finally, when it comes to the necklace, you can also grind up reputation for champions of Azeroth. Every time you reach a certain milestone with champions from Azeroth, from friendly to honored to revered to exalted, Magni is going to buff up your necklace by 15 item levels. That means the haste, crit, mastery, and other stats are going to increase, but not the actual level of the necklace. This is a nice way for you to keep up with your secondary stats, as a lot of your chest, shoulders, and headpieces no longer have secondary stats that you might want for your class. So grinding up that necklace and keeping up with that necklace reputation over time is going to be also a good idea. Now, these are all the known methods of grinding up AP currently, but there are more content in the works in the game right now. Some of the things that I've been able to experience to a certain extent on the beta should still translate into the current game that we have. One of the things that we haven't got to experience yet, but soon to come, is Warfronts and Warfront dailies. I don't really know if Blizzard is going to change the different rewards you get for doing Warfronts, but in my experience, we got ourselves gear as well as AP. So a good chance that Blizzard is going to reward you with various Warfront gear as well as AP. On top of that, you'll also have Warfront dailies for your faction for a short amount of time, usually a couple of days, and this will allow you to get some of the world quests as well as the rares in those areas done as well. The type of rewards we got on the beta were, of course, gear, then there was a lot of war resources and a little bit of AP for a world quest or two. So it's a good idea to get those done whenever Warfronts come out and keeping up whenever Warfronts are available. Another way of going about it is probably going to be Mythic Plus dungeons. The reason I say Mythic Pluses are probably going to be great for farming AP is because they were like that for Legion. In Legion, doing Mythic Pluses over and over netted you a decent chunk of AP, and doing more harder content, even though it might not be that difficult with better gear, generally netted you more artifact power. So it's a good possibility if you have a group that does Mythic Pluses, that has a lot of gear and can learn the mechanics, can efficiently grind out through different Mythic Pluses, collecting gear, maybe even reputation, as well as AP. A good chance that raids are also going to give you a fair chunk of AP as well. Again, they did in Legion, so a good chance that they will probably do in BFA. They're probably going to be a weekly reward, as in for every single boss. Let's say you want to do it on LFR, maybe you don't really have a guild to run normals or heroics with, just for doing every single boss you'll get a certain amount of AP from that one boss. And there's a potential that every single difficulty, let's say you run the whole raid in LFR, then you run the whole raid in normal, then you run the whole raid in heroic, that has a good chance to grant you AP. So as the game goes on, we'll have a lot more content for us to do on the weekly, on the daily, and that is something for us to look forward to. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Hopefully this video gave you guys a little bit of an idea of what some of the other methods there are for farming AP, because the necklace is going to be something important that we'll be playing with for all of BFA. Thank you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully you find it helpful, and I'll see all of you guys in another video.